part of the Earglue Media family of podcast.
You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Albert and Jonesy in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla, and this is episode 321, The Phantom Apprentice. We are back again to talk about the 10th episode. I believe it's 10th episode of season 7 of the Clone Wars. It was a doozy, and here to joining me tonight he's making his second to last appearance ever on the Cantina Cast, and if you believe that, I have some oceanfront property in Arizona that you may be interested in as well. Please welcome to the show, Dark Lord of Podcasting, Mr. Mike Rondo.
It is good to be here, sir, yet again, because I'm a cockroach that just keeps coming back. I guess I can't, bad penny that keeps showing up. But this will be fun, because this was a pretty good episode, and I look forward to breaking it down.
Yeah, we are definitely going to do that, and we're not going to waste any time. We're going to talk about
you're gonna waste a lot of people's time right now, but that's okay. It's all right.
He's a little punchy tonight. I'm just warning everybody. So
yeah, I'm gonna aggravate some people tonight, but that's okay. I'm used to doing that.
And let's talk about a couple of news bits, and we're gonna start with the High Republic.
Great.
So our good friend Jordan Mason over on Twitter said, interesting smidgen of info on Star Wars, hashtag Star Wars, the High Republic.
I don't know if I'd call it interesting.
The trademarks
Yep.
reveals options for tie-in material more in line with product releases they've done for shows, not as extensive as the films, including apps, Christmas decor, video games, office stuff, toys, etc. So
fascinating.
I think here's the thing. I'm excited. I know you're not.
Of course,
and that's fine.
I know.
You're not going to be
That's
excited.
fine. This is why we have balance on the show. You like it. I think it's crap. But,
What I'm excited about is the fact that when this first came out, when it was first announced, they were kind of hush-hush about anything else. I think they were trying to just temper expectations, right? They didn't want to go out and say, oh, yeah, we're going to do this, that, the other. It's going to be all like Shadows of the Empire all over again. And
they said there would be a phase 2.
Yeah. I don't think it was official.
If it's successful, I don't think it will be.
If it's successful, right. But I'm saying this is not a sign that if it's successful, I mean, if they're already planning like Christmas decor or more importantly, video games, that's an investment, right? They're taking.
I don't think it's a genuine full on like, Fallen Jedi
title.
Yeah. I think it's more of like a Galaxy of Heroes type stuff. If I had to guess,
maybe they introduce them in that game.
Yeah, it could be. I don't think they're at the point where they could jump into a Fallen Jedi Order there or anything like that, like Battlefront yet. Because you gotta get these characters out there so we know them and can kind of fall for them, right? So they haven't even done that yet. The first book's not out until August, so I could see them rolling out. Probably the smart thing to do would be maybe with Galaxies of Heroes there, the app that you love to, like a lot of people like to play it.
Yeah,
it might not be a bad place to start. I don't know if you could do like a patch in Battlefront where you have this era kind of explored and you could be
they got to be real careful about that. I mean, unless they'd have to work really closely with these authors and kind of be a fly on the wall to kind of pick and choose what they can show without spoiling anything that may be coming down the road.
But I don't see this panning out too well. But that's just me. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong. I will give it a shot when the book comes out. What is the first one's in August, right? Yeah, so I will. I don't think that'll be delayed due to the virus or anything like that. That should be able to.
No, we're all full steam ahead here.
Yeah, that should be all right. I mean, we might not have celebration, but that's a whole other thing that we talked about. But we'll see. We shall see, Albert.
I'm fine. I'm excited about it. I mean, it bodes well, right? I mean, if this is the future of Star Wars, then this can only be good news. And hopefully, it's successful. Because if not, then no one's going to care and all that. But
some would say they don't now. But that's
someone is on the other side of this mic.
Yes. But no, that's not true. I care a little. But anyway. I'm kidding, folks. Right. I'm kidding. Relax. I'm being a smart ass. All right.
We will we'll keep you guys continue to keep you posted on High Republic news.
See, I threw Albert right off there with my sarcasm. I'm so sorry, Albert. Continue.
You're fine. Cassian Andor,
which was exciting.
We've got a Cassian update.
Yeah.
Genevieve O'Reilly is coming back. She was the woman that played Mon Mothma,
which is kind of a
Rogue One.
When you think about it, it's like, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's not, like, duh. Like, yeah, obviously, right? You would think that because you would think she's gonna, she's running the whole show there. So you'd think that would happen. I wonder if we'll get, what's his name? He played Bale. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Jimmy.
Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll be in.
He's got to be.
Yeah, I would imagine.
What is he doing right now? Nothing.
Exactly. Nobody's doing nothing right now.
That's very true.
So I would, I'm sure he'll show up at some point too.
She's not the only one. I mean, we mentioned Stellan Skarsgård last week, and then Denise Go has also been cast, as well as Kyle Soller. Now, I've not seen. I was looking up these folks. So Denise Go was in Colette and Angels in America. Either one of those for you?
No, I don't think I saw them. No.
I think I'm approaching old man because I'm with
you.
More of these actors that they keep introducing. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I don't know who they are. Kyle Soller was in Anna Karenina and The Titan. Again, haven't seen either one of those.
Nope. Yeah, no.
So yeah, I don't know. I wish them best.
Yeah, me
Good
too.
luck.
I'm sure they'll do fine.
Don't screw this up, please.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't think they'll be fine. But I'm excited. No. I mean, at least we got some news.
We're getting news. That's the thing. I mean, that's the exciting thing. We just had when we did, was it a round table? We did something live about 2 weeks ago, and someone was like, "Hey, have you heard anything about Cassian Andor?" And there was some speculation in the chat about, "Oh, it's dead." And then the next day, we got the first part.
That always happens to us, though. This always happens every time with
you guys need to talk about it more.
Yeah,
so we can,
every time it randomly comes into our mind, like, oh, we haven't heard anything. Next day or two, boom, it's there. It's like, oh my God, it's like they're reading our mind. Maybe we're bugged. Maybe. Anyway.
What about the audiobook drama for Dr. Aphra?
Yes, this is the second one that they're coming out with. The first one was on
Jedi Lost.
Yeah, it was Dooku, which was a little crazy. I remember us talking about it with the review. It was kind of, like Harry Potter-ish in my mind. But I'm looking forward to this because, like you said, when you get 000 and his buddy there, that'll be pretty cool. I want to hear what they sound like.
Oh man,
because you got it in your head, like you've imagined this, right? And now you actually hear what they sound like or whatever. So it'll be interesting. I like these audio drama things, I like where they're going with this. It's a good attempt. The character, she's all right. I don't mind her. I mean, like 000. Big surprise there. So I'm curious where they'll go with this. This will be an interesting one. A second attempt. I'm glad they're doing it again because I got worried because we hadn't heard anything for a while, right? Like I'm like, all right, they did the one and done and that's it. But nope, they're coming back. So that's a good thing.
And it does talk about they're going to be covering, I guess, the first part. I mean, she's been out for a number of years now. She's got her own comic book out.
4 or 5 years now, right? Something like that.
Yep. It sounds like they're going to be focused on the very beginning, like her humble beginnings, if you will. So if you've not had a chance to read the Darth Vader comics, that's where she first appeared. And then she had her own series. So I'm not clear if they're going to pick up with Vader, which would be interesting. If not, then maybe they hit
I wonder
her
if they'll
main
jump,
series.
like they did with Dooku, right? Where they're like when he was young and then when he was older. So maybe they'll do that. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed reading it more than listening to it, though. I waited for that book to come out, picked it up when it finally came out, and I enjoyed that a lot more. But that was because there were so many names that they dropped, especially when they were talking about, the High Republic or even older and all that stuff, all that new canon stuff that we had never heard before. I couldn't.
It was hard to digest.
Write it down.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it was spelled, and I'm just weird like that. So, anyways, I'm excited about this. It should be good. So, what was the date? Did they give us the date on that? July 21st.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, all right.
Yep. Available for download everywhere. Audiobooks are sold on July 21st.
All right. Cool.
Dang, that was quick.
Yeah.
And Sarah Kuhn, it was the writer here, so I'm not sure what she's done. But all right. Anyways, we've already said it 4 times, and here's a 5th. We're excited about that. 2 more things here. Leslie Headland has a new show coming out. This is Variety Magazine, so not officially announced on StarWars.com. However, Variety Magazine said this is their exclusive, and usually when they have these exclusives, they're almost 100% correct. So we're going to hold them to the word and say that she's got a new series out. I don't know anything about her. The story here, the headline is that we've got another Star Wars show coming, which can't be bad news, right?
Well, here's the thing. I'm more worried about getting Obi-Wan and Cassian ready to go and out the door than moving on to these other things, or even a movie. Like, okay, I get it. It's Disney Plus. They're going to add all these like 400 different shows before you know it, right? So I get it. But my concern is the two shows that you haven't even filmed yet that are supposed to be hitting soon. You know what I mean? Like, that's more my concern than this. I will see what happens. Whatever happens, we'll go from there and, see if it's for me.
Yeah, I don't know if they. I don't think they gave us it's not coming out next year or anything.
No, of course not. It's going to be a while.
I mean, it gives them time to do what they need to do, which is finish up the other stuff first. But it's always good that they've got stuff in the waiting, right? I mean, otherwise, like I said, this is part of the question that I posed to you last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever it was about what are you excited for with Star Wars? Because at the time, I felt like, okay, we've got the High Republic coming out. We know about Cassian. We know about Mando. But beyond that, it's kind of there wasn't a lot that was being announced. And
even Obi-Wan is up. And then even this, I think we're with like this announcement, why I don't take it so serious, not seriously, but like, it's like, okay, whatever, is because we've had production problems with, I would say Obi-Wan, maybe Andor as well. We just don't know as much as we do with Obi-Wan, right? And then we've had all these other problems in the past with like trying to do movies and stuff where we fire people, hire people, all that other stuff. So I am very skeptical till I see a trailer, I guess you could say. Like, when you show me something physically, then okay, then I'll get excited for it. But until then, it's just talk, really, at that point. So
yeah, that's fair enough.
Maybe I'm being too harsh. I don't know.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Let's
you brought
talk
the
about
High Republic up early, so this is what happens. But
got you off on the wrong foot here.
Yeah.
Here's something you can get excited about.
Oh, I can't wait.
The Rise of Skywalker Junior novel.
Yeah, wow, it's amazing. A junior novel.
They've named one of the Sith statues in Exegol, and it is none other than Naga Sadow.
Yes. I find it so funny that a junior novel would give us something exciting and not the actual adult novel, but that's a whole other thing. I know you like the book and all that stuff, but I'm just saying it's good. I like this. This is good. We need more of this with the novel. And
there were other ones here. So the other ones that they mentioned were Lockfit Mindron.
Who came up with that? Did they ask me to write the name? Because that's
pretty much.
Yeah, that's
like somebody from Rhode Island came up with all these. And they're actually real words. It's just this is the way they sound.
That's fair.
Felcor.
Yeah, that's definitely a Rhode Island name. Yep.
Hey, Felcor over there?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Grew up with them.
Anyways, this is, I guess this is exciting only because they're calling back to more legend stuff here. I mean, for those of you who don't know, he was the crazy Sith alchemist, Dark Lord Sith guy, long time ago. And there's some great stories out there. I always thought he was a great character, but yeah, anyways.
He was. This is why they need to go way back to the Wayback Machine and bring up these characters, because they were so cool. And it would be nice to see them come to life. But hey, what do we know?
So cool. Anyways, that's a little bit of, not really news, but it was just fun. We got excited when we saw Naga Sadow just because it's legend stuff.
Yes,
and that's always cool when they bring that in. So, all right. Well, let's get into the main show. And again, we are going to be talking about the Phantom Apprentice.
Yes.
This is the second episode in the final arc of season 7 of the Clone Wars. And let's start off. I know you're itching to get some initial thoughts out here, but let's start with the overall thoughts, and then we'll kind of break it down. Some of the higher highlights and all that. But what did you think overall?
Well, at the last episode, the way they ended with the little cliffhanger there, I'm like, all right, it's going to get a little more predictable now, and it didn't, thankfully, because I thought she was going to get captured and all that, and then we're going to be predictable stuff and all that stuff, and then once she talked to Obi-Wan. After that, when the battles were starting, I kept saying, oh my God, Order 66 is going to happen like now. I was on edge the whole time waiting for it to happen. Like, I'm like, it's going to happen now. It's going to happen now. Rex is going to get the thing, and he's going to go, he doesn't, because I saw a video, he doesn't have a scar on his head right now. He didn't remove his chip. So how is this all going to work? Like, I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be, does Ahsoka do something to him and then takes his chip? I don't know. What
if she uses the Force to pull it out of his head? No,
that would be weird. Like, that's like aliens thing.
That.
But I was pleasantly surprised and excited about it. And I don't know. What were you? Your initial thoughts?
Oh, I'm with you. I think I stayed up to watch this Friday morning, and I think I posted something at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Central Time. And to kind of cover that, I think what I said was I was just like on bated breath the entire, much like you said, I was on bated breath. And I really felt like I was anxious about what was going to happen. I was getting really, like, it was stirring up emotions for me because, like you said, I really kept waiting. Like every moment I kept thinking, oh, it's going to happen now. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, no, right here. This is going to be it. This is,
exactly.
And I think, it was written that way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. He was doing that to kind of build the tension and suspension of it all. But that was, I don't know, it was emotionally draining for me when I was done. I'm like, what did I just witness? And then I started, my head immediately went to, my gosh, what is still going to happen with these last 2 episodes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, so the last thing is just kind of overall, I really felt like this is, again, one of the best ever that we've ever gotten. I mean, they've had a lot of time to think about this. Don't get me wrong, but these 2 episodes are really, really top-notch stuff. I mean, some of the best we've ever seen, if not the best we've ever seen. I know that may be controversial, and I'll wait to kind of give that opinion here later down the road. But they really do feel like these are the 2 best that I think we've ever seen in the Clone Wars. And maybe I'm just riding the big ship right now, but I don't know. Am I wrong there?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. I mean, this is the first time in a long time with, it's funny because we know Order 66 is coming, right? And we just don't know when. So it's like, all right, when is the shoe going to drop? It's like this first time in a long time with the Clone Wars that we're like, something like catastrophic is going to happen in a good way. Like, well, not in a good way for the Jedi and all that, but like something so anticipated that we've waited for like since 2008 to happen. And it's going to happen, and we just didn't know when. And we're so on edge. And like you said, they kind of wrote it that way. And you're thinking in your mind, you're like, oh, okay, it's happening on the bridge. It's going to happen here. No, it's going to happen there. And or when they go up to the rafters, oh, no, it's going to happen here. This is where the 3 of them are going to do their thing. So it was crazy. So it was the first time in a long time you felt that kind of tension with the Clone Wars, or with, I guess, the Clone Wars. I'll say that. Like, normally it's kind of predictable, so to speak.
I was going to save this for later, but it is kind of an overall thought. I was going to save it for the closing. Yeah, but I'll blow it now. My guess, at least these first 2 episodes, and I'm going to go on a limb here and say that the last 2 will be the exact same way. But when you look at this arc, I think we're going to go back and look at this arc when it's all said and done and say that this really does feel kind of like, I'm going to use the term nexus, a nexus for Star Wars. Like, they've been able to tie Solo Star Wars story and Episode 4 and Rebels and
Revenge of the Sith, the prequels.
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. I mean, it just seems like there's all kinds of opportunities, and they've taken advantage of them to tie it all together, which is kind of what I was hoping the Rise of Skywalker would do.
Well, Dave's good at it because he does it subtle. He doesn't throw it in your face. He does it a little subtle in the background, and you're like, oh. Or he does it with a line or 2, and you're like, oh, and it changes things. Like the Revenge of the Sith has been changed for just about forever now. Like when you look at it and see it, although we discussed an interesting moment, which we'll get into before we came on air, where we're like, we're a little baffled by that, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, like, even like the Mandalorian, there's ties there. Empire Strikes Back. I mean, you just name it. There's a lot that is coming that's stemming from this you're able to call back to. And that's great because, like you said, for us, that's amazing stuff and we love it. And if you're like the general casual viewer, you may not be picking up on this stuff. The only downside to this is, like, if somebody came to me and said, hey, I really want to get into the Clone Wars. What are the best episodes? What would I recommend? I don't know if I'd tell them these are probably the best ones. However, I wouldn't recommend these because they do, I don't know. I guess it spoils some things, but it doesn't, because we know what's going to happen, right?
No, because you have to start from the beginning and have that long burn to where we are now. If you've been a fan of that show, you have to start from point A and get all the way to where we are now. You have to. It's more satisfying, I think. And I think even for a fan like me, who's been I went to the movie, I saw the movie, and I watched it religiously all those years, and now here we come, and the payoff is big. It's like makes everything worth it to that. So if my daughter's seen them all already, so it doesn't matter. But if I went to someone, I'd say, all right, well, if you want to dive into the Clone Wars, start at point A, because if you go and watch these first and then you go back and watch all the other stuff, you're going to be like, wow, the animation is horrible. So please start right there and then work your way up, or, compile maybe a handful of the big arcs that are in each season and say, watch this arc and that arc in season 1, then season 2, watch this one and that one, and then so on and so forth, and then get to the end, and you'll kind of get the gist of it, so to speak. So, I mean, there's a few ways you could go about it, but I always say start.
Yeah, and I don't want to get on a tangent here, but I think the problem that I found is people. I know some folks that have approached me recently, probably since Celebration, and they heard Clone Wars was coming out. And actually, my brother, one of my actual brother, is one of them. Not Will, but Alex. You've never met him. He has always wanted to get in the Clone Wars. He's a big Star Wars fan, but he never got into the Clone Wars. And he came to me last year sometime. Was like, "Hey, looks pretty good, pretty excited. What do you recommend?" I said, "Watch it from the beginning." He's like, I don't really want to do that. I mean, because it is a little janky. It's a little intimidating. Well, there's a lot of episodes. It's a huge time commitment. I mean, we're not doing anything right now in the world. So you got it. But yeah, I get where people are like kind of turned off by it, not because they're not interested in or where they're not going to be able to keep up. I think it is a little overwhelming in terms of how many seasons there are, and these aren't like 15-minute episodes. I mean, they're a good time commitment. But anyways,
well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, just tell them this arc, that arc, and then go to the finale there. But
all right, before we're supposed to be we're way behind on time. But
of course.
Do you think we're going to? Do you think we'll get? Because the one thing that I'm waiting for, and we've not talked about this, and this is right up your alley, but I'm waiting for a direct reference to Mortis. Do you think Dave has got the cojones to do that?
Yep, with Ahsoka. Somehow that's going to tie in. It's just got to. Or even Obi-Wan. I'm telling you, you know what would be nice? Like I said, the last episode where they're all kind of dealing with the aftermath and something like that happens. I don't know. He's surprised me the last 2 weeks, so I wouldn't say no. I hope he does, because I'll just lose my mind. Why not?
You're going to just flip out.
I mean, we're already on this ride of emotional creativity. Why not just throw that in there, Dave? Just do it. Make my head explode while we're at it.
All right, well, 23 minutes in, we're going to start talking about the episode.
Yes, there we go.
Let's start with we got the title card again, which I was expecting now.
Yeah.
But there was something a little bit different about it. And
well, they had the chant, right? Was it the Sith chant going on?
There's like something going on there. Yeah. It was a very eerie opening, if for nothing else. And there was no narration.
Yeah, it was kind of like, well, no, I didn't think they would. I like that. I like that because it's part 2 of this. And that reminded me of a lot of like the original Clone Wars animated thing where it was, say, part 1 and get right into the action. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of paying homage to that right here. And I like that they just picked up, right? Because when you watch it, like I did this again last night, I watched it from part 1, part 2, like flawlessly, like boom, boom, boom. You're like, oh, all right, this works great. It flows as like a movie, which really it is.
Yeah,
the finale
really
is
what it is.
It's the Clone Wars movie number 2, really. Yeah. Which shows how much the show has progressed since 2008. But anyway, continue, sir.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that at first I was a little like, that's kind of weird. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm kind of glad they didn't do a narration, even though it doesn't feel Clones worthy.
No, because you got to think, like, you have to watch the first one and you get your narration, then this, and then this is just a continuation of that. It doesn't bother you. And
no. Well, and that's part of it. But I think it breaks the tension, right? If they were to come in and then pick up right there in that moment.
Yeah, because what were they going to say? What were they going to say? Ahsoka's in there, blah, 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 blah. What are you going to do? You have to pick up right where you left off there. So, it works out.
So, yeah, it was fine. I enjoyed it. And right out of the gate, we get this, we start getting Maul. He's kind of, doing his little monologue there. And he mentioned something in here. He talks about the foal of Kenobi being Skywalker, and that was part of his plan. And I guess this was my big takeaway, that Maul wasn't after Kenobi, and that was what we were led to believe, especially after Celebration and what are you doing here and that whole thing. I mean, everybody's like, whoa, he's going after Kenobi, and he wasn't going after Kenobi. But I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
Well, because I've seen a lot of people talking about this, and everybody seems pretty excited that he wasn't after Kenobi, that really Maul's intentions were to kill Skywalker. But I would say that's not exactly what he was trying to do either.
No,
right? What he was trying to
take away the Emperor's prize.
Exactly. He was trying to take down Palpatine.
Yes.
He was doing it through Kenobi, who would then go through Anakin, who would then be able to get to Palpatine. So he wasn't after Skywalker. He was after Palpatine. Anyways, I just want to make that clear because I've seen a lot of talk about this. Everybody's talking about, oh, he was after Anakin. No. Yes, he was. However,
I think he wanted to kill Anakin to take away the Emperor's prize, his pupil, the one that he's been grooming all these years. Maul could be he takes his shot because he was discarded, and he'd have that revenge, so to speak. Kenobi, if he killed Kenobi, that's a bonus for him. You know what I mean? So he really wanted to just mess up Palpatine's plans with his rule of two, and maybe even if Skywalker dies and Kenobi dies or whatever, and he knew Palpatine was going to take over because he says that the dark side's never been stronger. He senses that. Maybe he feels he could get back into favor somehow, some way. I don't know.
Maybe. I did not. Well, maybe. I think he was more. I think he's done. I think he's done skis with this. I don't think he considers himself Sith. I don't think he wants anything to do with dark side. Especially if you look at what he's been through his life at this point.
Well, what's interesting is
I think he's really focused on just taking down the Emperor and simply ruining that man's life for everything that guy did to him, Sith Lord or not.
Oh, I would agree with that. Yeah. It's interesting because he's confident about Anakin here, and he knows who Anakin becomes, I think, based on what he was talking.
Yeah.
And then you go to Rebels where he mentions Vader's coming. Mm-hmm. And he's got fear in him. So there had to be a point where they actually clashed. And I'm curious about that. Yes. Because the way he says it in Rebels, it's like when he calls Ahsoka Lady Tano, you know? So there's interesting little things like that Dave's done that I want to see the resolve of it, so to speak. But anyway, continue.
I'll take it. Yeah. Let's talk about the other stuff too. Because in this moment, he's talking more about Order 66, and we get, I don't know. You get a sense here that he knew a lot, and more than I thought he would, because from what Phantom Menace, we really didn't see a whole lot there.
He just
even
seemed
throughout
like
the Clone Wars, even throughout the Clone Wars series, you got bits and pieces that he may know something, but not. I mean, hardly anything at all. He was out of the system. Really wasn't part of the inner circle anymore. He was much like us and much like the Jedi, and just kind of witnessing these things happen firsthand. And maybe from that point, you know, he was reacting to it, very reactionary and going, oh, it's probably because of that. But it didn't seem like he was very proactively engaged in any of this stuff. But then he comes into this episode and he's talking about how it's imminent and that he knows that Darth Sidious is behind this, and he calls it the plan, the only plan that matters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting that he just starts going into this like monologue and starts talking about all this stuff. And that's when that whole tension started to build up for me about, man, Order 66 is probably going to happen like right now. Yeah. And then later on, right now. Yeah. And throughout. But
yeah, through the whole thing, I was like, oh, it's going to happen now. It's going to happen now. So yeah, I always suspected he knew things, found out things, but I didn't think he knew at this point. But again, Almac gives him the whole, well, he gives us the line, he's had a vision for the past few weeks or whatever. So something triggered him to be this way and to go through with this plan. I'm curious what that would be, though, that made him, something went off in him where he's like, oh, I got to do this to foil this or whatever that is. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of not a plot hole, but it's like a loose end that you would like to have tied, but we don't have time for that right now. Maybe in a comic we'll get that or something. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I took his vision and his like foresight being as powerful as it was, and being able to see Anakin Skywalker as Vader. I kind of saw that the line that you'd mentioned earlier, where he said the dark side has never been stronger. Mm-hmm. It almost feels like because the dark force is so strong that all of his abilities and all of his senses are like just heightened right now.
Well, you make a good point with that, because when he's doing the bolts there, they're freaking curving.
Oh yeah. So we're jumping ahead here, but yeah, I've got that questions like, where the heck did he learn to do that?
So how? Maybe you're right there, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
I am right.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
No, the other thing too was the other thing I had in notes is just, I like the fact that he acknowledged that, you know, he had a part in all of this and he played his part, even if he wasn't aware of all the details. You know, he did what he had to do, and whether he liked it or not. And that comes a little bit later, because I think that foreshadows what he uses against Ahsoka later on, when he's trying to convince her to come to the dark side. But anyways, he escapes, or at least he leaves, but he doesn't try to escape Mandalore. I threw the question out there of why, and I think it's later on it became I'm running through my notes here, but it became obvious that the reason why he ran off and didn't try to leave Mandalore was because he was going to try to convince Ahsoka to come with him.
Yeah.
So he was escaping to fight another day, and that fight would be to try to convert her later on.
My only question with Ahsoka is when he's monologuing, because like bad guys do, which we said he would on the last episode. We said he's going to monologue.
Yeah.
Is when his back is turned to her and she's got her lightsabers out. Why not just put him through his back?
There were many moments like that. Like he was,
I mean, he probably could have sensed it because, the dark side is strong at this point. So he probably would have turned around and just whatever, pulled the father and grabbed the blade and threw it in the thing at this point. But yeah, I'm like, well, you're not technically a Jedi, Ahsoka. And you've been saying with Bo, like Bo remind Almac of whatever. And, she's going to like, hey, go rough him up or whatever. So it's not like you're really being the classic Jedi of just do the good. You kind of you're kind of doing the Qui-Gon thing of blurring the lines a little, but right. I like that though.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Like there was many times when throughout this episode, he had his hands behind his back a lot, which is a very different posture for him. I think they were trying to show that he wasn't the Maul, the cockroach, and all that we've seen throughout the episodes. This is the Maul that is now in charge of the underground, the syndicate, right? He's got a leadership role. He's more in that leadership role. And yeah, I think, him having the audacity or the bravery or the whatever to kind of have his back turned with a Jedi next to him. I think that part of it is probably because the Force is so strong and his senses are heightened. He probably can see all that. But anyways, let's talk about one part here. Let's jump ahead a little bit here to the hologram with Kenobi,
which was
there's some really cool stuff that happens here.
That was a surprise to me. And you know what's funny, when I saw it, I said to Albert, I'm like, we are going to get Anakin talking to Ahsoka via
and you know
hologram.
what I was saying? I was like, crap, Mike's right. We're going to get Anakin.
I could hear it. I'm like, yes, I'm going to be right. But then based on the conversation, I'm like, it ain't happening, kid.
Yep. I win. Yes.
Yep. Well, you never know. I don't know. Dave's pulled.
Oh, here we go.
Pulled things out.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean,
I think we're done.
All right.
No, Mike. It's okay. Let it go.
Well, I just don't like that being the very last. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, move on.
Let's talk about what happened, though, more importantly than who was right or wrong, although I was right.
Yes.
So the big one here was that he mentions that Dooku was dead. And like he seems very disappointed in that. And I don't think we got that from the movie as much, right? Because he kills him, obviously.
Yeah.
Cuts his head off.
Well, he was passed out. He didn't see it. He was sleeping on the job.
That's true.
Kenobi.
Yeah, but right. But they've got to wonder, like, at some point, what did that conversation? Hey, so while I was passed out, what happened to Dooku? Oh, I cut his head off. Oh, really? How did that happen? Like, what was the
Well, because then he drops him off at the transport. He's like, "Oh, today was your day, Anakin." Blah 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 blah, and it's all chummy. So
yeah.
But I think because maybe he went to the council, and then the council makes him feel bad about it, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, you're kind of right," because the council kind of guilt trips, I think, Obi-Wan. When you think about it. So
they're good at that.
Yeah. So I think, maybe that's what happened in between. Who knows? I mean, you're going to have to fill in the blanks, I guess, at this point. But that was
part of his disappointment too was that part of his disappointment was the fact that with Dooku gone, I mean, you think about it. So if you're a fan of this series and you've seen all 7 seasons, how many times did you hear Dooku is the key to all this? We've got to go after Dooku. I mean, it was almost like they were chasing Dooku because he was the person, right? They said it literally many times in number of episodes throughout the series. And so finally they killed him, or they got him anyways, and they realized, well, crap, now what? We don't have anybody else. We don't have anybody that's close. We don't know we know that there's just Phantom Menace out there.
Yeah.
We know that there's Sidious is out there, but we don't know how to get to him. We don't know anything about it. And we just killed, or one person that knew all of this was now dead, which was great because I wasn't expecting them to go to Maul. Like he would be the next most logical person that they would try to track down to fill in the blanks and try to figure out, okay, maybe he knows something, which I think it was a great kind of handoff to allow Ahsoka into that role, and certainly for this Clone Wars episode to kind of play out the way it does.
Well, it adds a little more importance now when you think about it, so which is good.
Yeah. So Maul being the missing link there, I guess, is kind of the key takeaway. Again, we got more stuff. I was excited when he said I'm being sent to hunt down General Grievous on Utapau. It's like, oh yes, here it comes. That's awesome. I know
which is what triggers everyone to go. we're gonna get it now. We're gonna get Order 66, and we're all nervous the rest of the episode. Thanks, Dave. Yeah.
All right. So here's the one story here's the one that I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you guys, and hopefully you can provide us with answers, or maybe we'll get some insight. I don't think
I thought you were gonna know the answer to this one.
Oh no,
I thought I was
just struggling.
I
really have.
I'm like, am I this dumb? What did I miss here?
Now, so the moment we're talking about,
I am dumb, but this just made it worse. But go ahead.
So this is the very end. At the very end, there, when Kenobi says, "Please tell," he please Ahsoka tells him. She says, "Tell Anakin," and then she pauses, and then Kenobi finishes the line, "I will." And so the question is, like, what was it? What did you guys think Ahsoka would wanted Kenobi to tell Anakin? And my mind has gone, I'm not even kidding you, like a million different things came to mind. At first, I thought it was, "May the Force be with you."
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought, well, that seems doesn't seem like right. Then I thought, well, maybe she was trying to tell him to be careful because there was doubt. Well, let me back up. What I was telling Mike earlier was the very first viewing, what I thought was Ahsoka was trying to tell Kenobi to tell Anakin to be careful because she was worried, given what was about to happen, that maybe he would have a tendency to shift over to the dark side, or maybe he could lose his control or whatever. But then she's like so adamant later on about, there's no way he could have went to the dark side when Maul confronts her and says all that, and she calls him a liar. So that didn't seem like the reason.
The only thing I came up at the moment was tell Anakin the council isn't always right. He needs to hear that from you, maybe. And then the other thing was, what the heck was it? I can't think of it now, but about the assignment that he has. Tell him that, whatever. But I'm like, wait a minute. He must have talked to Anakin and said, go on. He's on this assignment. He didn't take kindly to it, I guess is what he said, right? If I remember right, he echoed what he says in Revenge of the Sith. So I don't know. I was lost. I'm like, what? I don't know what you want him to tell. Maybe may the Force be with you. Because the problem we had is like, okay, before that happens,
right. Fast forward to that scene.
Fast forward from that scene, and we got Anakin and Obi-Wan on the bridge there, where he's going to take off to go hunt down Grievous, and they have their conversation. But he doesn't say, "Hey." Ahsoka says, "Hey." By the way, we don't get that at all. So, is that a little wonky? Or are we just being too critical here? Maybe we're being too critical. I don't know. Maybe because I'm going to need some clarification of what Ahsoka was trying to tell Obi-Wan. It's going to be something simple, and I'm just too dumb to figure it out of everything that's going on.
I think the simplest explanation may be the right one, and that is, may the Force be with you.
Yeah, probably. Probably, because he's going to do a challenging assignment because he's with the Chancellor, who he might be clouded with his judgment, so...
Yep. And it wouldn't break anything from Revenge of the Sith, although it makes Kenobi look like a jerk face. Yeah.
Well, he already is.
He doesn't pass anything
at
on.
This point.
Like, I'm going to take this from you and say it myself.
Okay.
So, but that's what Kenobi would do.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, if you guys have better thoughts and opinions there, which you probably do because you listen to the show, let us know. We'd like to hear. All right. Let's talk about Maul just suddenly capturing Jesse. And at first I was, when I saw the episode, I'm like, what the heck's he want with Jesse? And I thought, he's going to take the chip out, or he's going to find out, something with the chip. Nope.
No.
It was a better storyline, I think. He needed that. He needed Jesse. And it was interesting because they mentioned that he took one of the older clones, which would make sense. They had to call that out, right? Just to make sure that you understood that he was going after something very specific here. And what he does is he ends up data mining, for lack of a better term, Jesse, to try to get some details and dirt on Ahsoka and what had happened with her, because he was going to turn around and use that a little bit later. So this was similar to the Kylo Ren thing with Poe and The Force Awakens.
Yep.
That's why I said, like, this is like a nexus, right? If I went back and played it, I wanted to make a little image of this for social media, but the hand gestures, even like the positioning of the fingers, are very, very close, and so there's no mistake. That wasn't unintentional. They did that on purpose there. So, but that was cool. It's kind of foreshadowing what Kylo Ren would do later on. And I was trying to remember, had Darth Maul ever done something like this before?
I thought he did. But not on this. Not like this. Okay. I can't remember. I'm trying to recall from the series when he would have done this, but I thought he did. I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but I'll have to go back and look this up online or something. But I thought he did. Fair. I thought he did Mind Probe, but not like this. This was different.
Yeah. And so again, I don't know. Maybe this is just more of the dark side being as strong as it is right now, that it's allowing him to kind of have these types of powers or have them enhanced in this way. But he was able to mine a lot of data out of his head for sure.
Yeah.
We get the next scene where we've kind of already talked about this one, but this is Almec mentioning that Maul had a vision. He had a dream. There's when he mentions death, Anakin's death or something like that. I can't remember. There's you can hear the Imperial March theme playing in the background. Oh, that was cool.
Yes.
And the question I had was Maul's vision of Anakin taking Palpatine's side and ruling the galaxy together, because they don't say explicitly. I think we've just kind of covered that though earlier, but I don't know what else it could be at this point. I think he definitely sees that it is Anakin who becomes Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
He probably has visions of Darth Vader standing next to Palpatine, them ruling the galaxy together, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why that kind of puts his plan in motion to say, okay, if that's what Endgame looks like, how do I disrupt that? Okay, I need to get to Anakin in order to take out Palpatine. I got to take out Kenobi to get to Anakin, et cetera. And eventually gets to, what he ends up getting is Ahsoka. So he's got to make do with what he's got, and that's kind of where he has to, do an option or play an audible there. What'd you think about the Gar Saxon and Bo-Katan fight?
It was all right. I mean, it was interesting, but the only thing I thought was weird with Almec and his death was how was Gar able to just sneak in there with a sniper rifle, do his thing, and then, you know what I mean? That was kind of, again, a little weak, but, I get where they're going. They need something, so... But it was pretty good. I mean, it was a good fight.
He gets overshadowed by Maul and Tano.
It was a good fight. Don't get me wrong. It was a good fight. We had flames and, jetpacks. You can't go wrong there, right? So
they had that little so here's a question for you. Do you think we're going to see that little buckler shield thing in the Mando later on?
That's coming. That's coming.
Oh,
I said that when they were on the bridge, and I think in the first episode when Gar had it and it came out, I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to see that in the Mandalorian. I'm pretty sure of that. But Bo is pretty badass in this whole...
Oh, she is. I mean, they really did her a good one here.
Yeah, I like her quite a bit now. Like, her character's... She was all right in, like, Rebels and everything, and the early Clone Wars, but now she's really shining in this one, and I like it.
Yeah. The imagery, for me, so I did like the fight. Again, I felt like it gets overshadowed by the fight between... Maul and Ahsoka here a little bit later, but the image of her pushing up that elevator, the way it was framed and shot, I mean, it was just visually really cool to look at. It almost reminded me like a comic book cover. I'm trying to think of the comic book, but the Hulk. There's an old comic from the Hulk, and if you know what I'm talking about, kudos to you. But it's been used and redone many times with different characters, but it's kind of him holding up the word Hulk, and it's kind of on his back. That was the imagery I got. I don't know if it's a call out to that, but it was just weird that it was shot and framed the way they did. I mean, you could have done a still, and maybe we need to, but anyways, that's all I had. I really enjoyed it. So I'm just fanboying on that one.
That's okay.
Let's talk about, so the very next scene. Oh, here we go. We get Maul talking to the Syndicate. And we got Pikes and we got all that, but then we have
the Black Sun. Yeah.
Black Sun's in there, and then we get Dryden Boss, who, I mean, again, here we go. Tie back now to Solo Star Wars story.
Well, first I'm like, wait a minute, what the heck is Hux doing there? But when you look
me about that too.
Yeah, when you look at it, you can see the red marks on his face. They're very subtle. So, I mean, he was very calm at that point. He wasn't mad. When he gets mad, they turn red, right? So that was pretty cool. I like that. That was a nice Easter egg. Good way to tie it all in with Maul and the Syndicate. I hope we get a lot with the Syndicate that he's running there, like the criminal thing after all this. I don't know how that's going to work after the fallout of this. So we got a lot of things that'll be interesting.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, after when we get to, I was going to do this in the closing stuff, but again, I'll just do some of it now. The Darth Maul character itself just is like, it's up a notch, right? It's gone up a level in terms of my interest in how much more I want. And to be honest, I don't know that when Maul came back, it felt very gimmicky, right? When we knew he was going to come back in the Clone Wars, it seemed like, oh, okay, here they're jumping the shark. And I couldn't be any wrong. I mean, I'll eat crow on that, right? I think they've done an amazing job with this character. I think he has changed so much, which I'll talk about a little bit later too, Dave Filoni. But I think I'd be down with it. Like, give me a full series now with Maul, and give me Sam Witwer playing him.
Oh yeah,
I'm totally down with a series about this. But here's something else, an interesting take, I think, on Maul talking to the Syndicate, because he has an opportunity there to warn the Mandalorians and say, hey guys, guess what? Order 66 is about to go down. We got to get out of here. Things are about to get really bad. And he doesn't. He instead notifies the Syndicate leaders, the people that report up to him, and basically tells them stuff's about to happen. You guys need to get out of here and go into hiding, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's very different than what the Jedi did. Like, if the Jedi did this afterwards, after they realized, holy cow, we're Dunskies, we need to go into hiding. It's very similar to that, but Maul, because he was aware, because he knew what was going on, was proactive in trying to help his people. And he also did this because he made the comment twice in this episode about living in the chaos of it all.
Yeah.
And that he was going to thrive in this chaos that was about to come, which we know he does because we see him later on. But I thought that's great leadership on his part, believe it or not. I mean, it's subtle. They don't dive into it too much, and it's kind of on the surface. But, again, it speaks to his character development and how much he's matured over the years.
Yeah, what's interesting with him, though, and which makes me think that Vader is probably the one who broke up the Syndicate, and he had his fight with Maul. And that's why when we see him at Malachor, he's kind of like a broken, in fear of Vader, but,
he's got his
doesn't
tail between his legs.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the Syndicate anymore. Like, that all went to poop, right? So there's something there, Mr. Filoni, and you better tell us. But anyway, carry on, sir.
Yeah. Maul's pep talk there at the very end just wasn't. I mean, it wasn't very good. It's like, okay, hey, crime syndicate, and they witnesses, right? He tells the crime syndicate leaders,
they go
into hiding, and then turns around and goes, okay, guys, you guys ready to die? Let's go.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know. That was a little. Yeah, it was a little
not real cool.
No. I just want to say, Sam, his performance with like how he talked to like Ahsoka, especially when they got in that throne room, was just awesome.
That's the next one coming up.
Yeah. Because the way he talks, well, we'll carry on with this if you want. So,
no, let's get into it. Yeah, that's the next scene up here, right? Maul's in the throne room. We talked about him deflecting bolts.
The rightful ruler that he is.
Yeah, he said he was the rightful ruler, but he's not wrong. He beat Vizsla.
True,
and that wasn't that the the tradition or whatever?
Technically, yes. Technically, yeah.
He's not a Mando, and I think that was the problem, right?
That's her problem. That's her problem. Yes.
Yeah.
But
I'm taking a drink of coffee when I shouldn't be. That's big no-no.
That's okay. I'll just have to edit all that.
Edit that right out.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
But I was drinking coffee there. Now you got to edit 7 seconds.
I'm not going to edit anything. But yeah, I mean, the way he delivered these lines it was very Star Wars comedy like, and it was just done well. I thought it was great. I liked his lines and what he was saying, and the way he was talking. Yeah, go ahead.
No, my notes here. Like, I literally was just writing down sentences. Like, there aren't even notes. Like, I'm not even thinking about anything because the words, I think, speak for themselves, right? The dialogue speaks for itself. But just to kind of high level here, when he tells her, "Were you not cast out of your order?" and she fires back, "I left voluntarily." And then he says, "Yes, but you left motivated to leave by the hypocrisy of the Jedi Council." And then he says, "We were both tools for greater powers."
Again, he's telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. Exactly. Yep. He's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and we start to see it. I mean, Ahsoka comes in. She is being as cavalier as she can be, but he gets to her. I mean, he gets to her to the point where she finally says, "Okay, I'll join you."
Which is a Star Wars tradition. All right. Okay.
Well, usually they say no.
Well,
right. I mean, join me.
Yeah.
Rey doesn't do it. Luke doesn't do it. But yeah, it's different. And I think it's different. Well, hold on. Hold that thought. Because it is different.
Okay.
Because, she says, she fires back after that. And this is early on in that conversation. "I'm here to bring you to justice." And then he has this great.
That's her, in her mind, ignoring what he's actually telling her.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is a slow, methodical, long game breakdown of her. He is doing this, and long being, the 60 seconds that this all happens in. But he's trying to break her down piece by piece, but he fires back then, which I think was one of the best lines out of the Clone Wars, that justice is merely the construct of the current power base, a base which, according to my calculations, is about to change.
Mm-hmm.
But that line of justice is the mere construct of the current power base, I mean, that is very true of, just our real world, but a lot of what we see in Star Wars and a lot of what happens is because of that line alone, which I thought was great.
Well, he's a philosopher. He is. So I like Maul now.
And the back and forth between them, Maul keeps painting this picture of like desperation, doom, gloom. Things are going to be horrible. Things are going to be different. Chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Ahsoka's retort are always very positive. It's almost like she's speaking about hope. And so it's just that balance between the two, or the juxtaposition between the two, that I thought was very interesting. And then here's where I know you were mentioning, Sam Witwer's dialogue here in his performance, but this whole line where he says, "Too late for what? The Republic to fall. It already has. You just can't see it." I mean, he's just going on there. I mean, that is really riveting stuff, and the way he delivers all those lines is pretty freaking amazing. It ends with him saying they cannot defeat Sidious, and he's telling her straight up, "This is all about to happen. There is nothing you can do. There's no justice, no law, no order, except for the one that's going to replace it."
Yep.
And then he kind of churns and he starts kind of pandering to Ahsoka's feelings here, saying, "But together you and I can." And this is where, they're kind of going back and forth. And I meant to go back and watch Twilight of the Apprentice more, although I've seen that episode, I don't know how many times. But I want to go back and watch the dialogue between these two here, and then the dialogue between him and Ezra, to see if it's of the similar vibe, because he's doing the same thing to Ezra a little bit later in the Phantom or Twilight Apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to take a look at that at some point. But so why did Ahsoka consider it? I'll throw this question to you. Why did she say, "Okay, sure"?
I would just.
She says, "I will help you, but you must answer one question. What did you have? What did you want to do with Anakin Skywalker? Was that a test, or did she wholeheartedly accept it and was willing to go through with joining him?"
I think because it was to defeat Sidious in some way. She didn't know what that way was. Then when he says, Anakin and all that, it was like, all right, the deal's off, because no way am I letting you go near him. I will defend him till my last breath. And that's kind of why I went south, right? That's how I took it. Maybe I took it wrong. I don't know. What do you think? What did you think? Same or?
Sort of. I thought, well, I saw it as maybe it could be a test. Like, okay, I'll join you. Let's see what you say, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think he pulled at her heartstring just a little bit before that, when he says every choice you have made has led you to this moment. Now that's not
kind of echoing what Anakin was thinking.
Yes.
So
in the Trace and Rafa.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, the first episode of this arc.
Yeah.
When he's like, "Oh, see, this is exactly why all this happened." He's talking, the will of the Force and all that. And
well, to be honest, the conversation he has with her, where she asks him about it, Maul says, "Oh, he's the key to everything." And this is where you get the maybe the Mortis arc influence, is where he says to bring balance to the Force, like, because she was there and it was reaffirmed to her, because obviously he made the son and the daughter bow and all that other, go to their knees. So maybe that kind of triggered something in her at that moment, because when you look at her, she gets like deadly serious and like very like, okay, things are changing and maybe this is the moment. Like now this is like, it's real. Like the prophecy is real in her mind. So she's trying to feel that out at that moment. But then he says to destroy and all that. And then she loses her cool. Like, nah, it ain't happening, pal. Sorry. And then we go from there. So I just wanted to mention that. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think I have a different take on it, but
yeah,
the way I saw this in my head, at least the way I kind of saw this going, she was ready to join him. I think she is willing to join him. You asked me a question. I don't think I really fully answered it. Do I believe that she was willing to join him? I do. I actually do believe that she was willing to go ahead and join him. Now, she may have justified that a little differently and said, okay, well, I need to join him because it's a means to an end. I'm not really a Jedi. I'm going to run to the middle, gray, all that stuff, right? I get all that. But the fact that at that moment she realizes that they're both outcasts from their order. They're very similar. And this is the similarities between Maul and Ahsoka. And that they both acknowledge, like he's acknowledging, look, the time for the Jedi, it's past. They're over with. They're done skiing. They're not going to do anything more. And she was saying the same thing to Anakin in Kenobi in the last episode, or in this last episode. She's like, we've lost our way. And she almost felt like she had come back to kind of put them back on track, get them along their way. So in that right then and there, I think she was willing just on that alone to go ahead and side with him, even if it was temporarily. I think once when she brings up to bring balance to the Force, and she poses that as a question, and Maul says to destroy, I think because she knew, like you said earlier, with what had happened in the Mortis arc, she knew that it really wasn't about destruction. It really truly was to bring balance to the Force. And if that's the truth, then there's no other explanation than Maul has just lied, that he's manipulating me. She's like, I know, Anakin, your vision is flawed. I know, Anakin. I took that line as, I know, Anakin, he is not here to destroy. He is here to bring balance to the Force. As ignorant and as naive as that sounds, because she doesn't have the whole picture like we do. She doesn't have the benefit of,
It's kind of heartbreaking when she says that, though.
Oh, it is. It is absolutely heartbreaking.
Which is why I'm like, I was waiting. All right, Order 66 right now. Here we go.
Yep, just get it going.
It's going to happen now. And I really felt for her for that point, because, again, we have the outside perspective, right? But she doesn't see that. And I'm like, oh, man, if you only knew. It's like, because, again, it goes back to that line I always said, truth-telling Sith and lying Jedi. And here you go. Prime example of it. So.
Yeah, she is so pro Anakin, like Team Anakin. Like he can do no wrong. And that's what just kills me about Twilight of the Apprentice. I mean, that line of, I'm not going to leave you this time. Like, she's still dedicated to that man. She knows he's down there somewhere, but she's definitely dedicated to her master. So anyways, yeah, great stuff all around here in this scene. And then, we get the lightsaber fight. So he's his one last lesson for the Padawan. And the saber. Did you see the half of it? So he puts it out in front of him. It's a double lightsaber.
Yeah, yep.
But that one, the half of the lightsaber, it looks different. If you go back and pause it, it's not the same one he had in.
No, people were talking about his brother's half or whatever, and I don't think that's go ahead.
Oh no. This is I'm not gonna look it up right now, but there was something they were doing with what's her name?
The Armor?
Who?
The Armor? No.
No, I know you're excited about that because I teased you about that a little bit earlier. No, Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, that's what I mean. His brother. His brother. There was rumors a couple of months ago, or whenever I saw it, when we saw the blade, and they said, well, did he put pieces of his brother? But they said, no, not really. It doesn't look that way. So I don't know. I'm not sure. But maybe there's some of it, maybe not. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, no, I'm not Asajj Ventress, not Savage.
Yeah,
Asajj Ventress.
Savage. Yeah.
Not Savage.
That's what Savage. They say. That's what Mother Townsend says. Savage Apprentice. Yeah, that's what she says.
That's right. That's it. Listen, no, wait, get back on track here.
Yeah.
So the half of the lightsaber that I'm focused on, I want to say was leaked at one point or shown in Star Wars Insider years ago.
Okay.
Before season whatever was canceled, and they ended up tabling a lot of episodes. I want to say that was supposed to be like some concept art that they had released for Asajj Ventress's new lightsaber that she was going to use. You know when they show her holding the yellow lightsaber? We've seen those images before.
Yeah.
I want to say that's the actual lightsaber, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe I am. Anyways, it's not important. I thought if it's cool, it's a great little Easter egg that they repurposed that.
Yeah.
But we're burying the lead here in terms of what's happening, because the lead here in this story was the actual fighting sequences and the choreography that went into and the motion capture that was used by Ray Park and Lauren Mary Kim was phenomenal. Like, it is so. I'm sorry, maybe I'm getting way too excited about this, but I just really thought it went so well. Like, I was so excited, so happy with what I saw. I always felt like the lightsaber fights in the Clone Wars were really like jumpy, like, you know what I mean? Like, it seemed like it was just hopping around. It didn't seem real natural. And because they use motion capture here, it flowed a lot nicer. And you miss out on just how amazing Ray Park is. Like, watch his feet. I know it sounds silly.
Yeah, he does that jump.
He does the little jumps. Yep. He's got his feet up in the air. Like, even when he's just standing, he's always coming in with his feet, which is kind of like speaks to his style of martial arts or what he's done, right? I mean, this is that's kind of it's supposed to throw you off. Now, the jarring part is Maul doesn't fight like this in any of outside of the Phantom Menace. He doesn't fight like this in any of the other episodes. Like, they never capture those small details, and I think that's the beauty of this, is that there's little things like that, right? The intricacies of somebody like a Ray Park, who's a master at what he does, and being able to capture that and then translate that over into film, I think is great. I think they did a really great job, and the choreography again was just phenomenal. And if you don't know, and this isn't it. We're coming back to it in a minute, but their armorer, the choreography that the woman that does the fighting for the armorer in The Mandalorian is none other than Lauren Mary Kim. So it's the same lady who plays the armorer. She just did the choreography here for Ahsoka.
Well, that's not the one and the same, sir. That's not what I was going. No, but
I have something for you later. So.
Okay, all right. But the fighting was amazing. It never looked more polished. And then there was that moment that it was very subtle, but it stuck out to me like a sore thumb in a good way, where they were monologuing yet again. And Ahsoka saying, well, it's a good thing Obi-Wan didn't show up, or Anakin didn't show up because you're rusty or whatever. And the way she moved, it flowed so great. And it was like, oh, man, that's awesome. But the fight was
when they're kind of walking around each other, or like circling each other.
Yeah, they were doing the circle walk there where, they monologue and everything. And just the way they engaged each other that way, like talking and moving, it was great. The whole thing was great. I felt it was too short, though. You know what I mean?
Well, they had a part 1 and they had a part 2 later on. But
and I know there's going to be something coming again, I think, because I don't think that was the end of it all. I think Dave's holding the whole big bang soon, which is next episode. It has to be next episode. But it was just great. And even the way they were moving, like when she's turning and blocking or whatever, and it was really good. It reminded me, it was better than the Dooku, Anakin, and Obi-Wan fight that they had on Sereno. That was a good fight at Dooku's home planet there. I believe it was his home planet that they had that. That was a good lightsaber. Actually, the Clone Wars has always had pretty good lightsaber battles, but this would probably be the best of the best because of what you mentioned, like the mocap, Ray Park, you get Sam, and then, it was great. Lauren doing Ahsoka's moves and all that. And then it was nice to see Dave through even in the punch that he does on Ahsoka, like with the thing, right? Which was his move, and that's why Obi-Wan beats him in the end, because he knew what he was going to do. So that was a nice little...
he got her in the face in some ways.
And she was able to get her thing back. Yeah, so little things of that made that even more special. I don't know. I mean, it was great to see. I don't know what else to say about it other than it was great.
There's three other things I want to say about it.
Okay.
Before we move on. The line of "you'll find I have many qualities for you to dislike" was kind of reminded me of "you'll find I'm full of surprises."
Yes.
Maybe. The move that she does where when she loses her one lightsaber, and the fact that she ignites it and then calls it to her ignited and almost pierces him, I thought was pretty cool. That seems like a very Anakin kind of thing to do. I thought it was, poetic that it was Anakin's blue lightsaber, or at least it looked like Anakin's blue lightsaber coming at him. And then the third thing was there's a moment in there where he kicks, I want to say he kicks a lightsaber out of her hand. I'm going to have to watch this thing in slow motion, but it's because there's so much going on. And he like kicks a lightsaber out of her hand. It falls out of her hand, and she reaches up quickly and grabs it, ignites it again. And it's all in about 0.25 seconds. But when you watch it in slow motion, you get to see it. When you watch it at full speed, you don't see it. And it's just great stuff. Anyway, so that's, again, fanboy stuff, but all that to say that lightsaber battle was...
My question to you, though, with this battle is, why did he want to escape after that? Like,
why did he want to escape?
Yeah,
I think he's done. Like, this is his whole plan at that point.
He tried
because Anakin did not show up.
Yeah.
He was all about, okay, I'm going to let this whole thing burn. I don't need Ahsoka. She's not going to join me. I'm done. I'm just going to go. My only recourse at this point is it's about to happen any second. I need to get out of here. I need to go lay low. I need to regroup with my syndicate leaders here and screw the Mandalorians, screw Ahsoka Tano, screw the clones. Let it all just burn and rot. They're all going to die anyways. I think that was his plan. It was all about him getting away.
Well, now my question to you was that, what's her name? Rook? That was the pilot of that shuttle?
No. That's who I think the armorer is.
Ah.
I'm going to say that was her.
Because I thought it was
someone's, what's that?
I thought it was her name Rook or whatever?
Rook.
Yeah. whatever her name is.
No, it didn't sound the same. Not to me, anyways. No. And if you go back and listen to if you put here's a good dead giveaway about it. If you go watch it with the subtitles on, they put it doesn't say Rook anywhere in there.
Okay.
All it says is female voice is all it says.
That's interesting.
So I thought, okay, well, that's kind of cool. What if it is the armorer? And if you look at although the only thing I'll say that to counter that argument is the shadow of the ship that's flying above them does look like a Mandalorian ship, which I guess it still could be the armorer, but it doesn't look like his ship, right? It doesn't look like any ship that we know him to fly.
The problem with that, though, if that is the armorer, then that kind of goes against her whole, this is the way, stay in the sewers and kind of rebuild the Mandalorians, because she would be technically betraying the Mandalorians because he ditched them. That's why I thought Rook maybe, because she's kind of like, yes, my lord. Like she seems to be a big fan of his, so to speak. So that's why I was going.
Either
with
way,
that.
why would she continue to, like, if I was the armorer, and I could make anything I wanted, including armor, why would I model my helmet to look like this jerk that left her?
True. Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Maybe it's not. I don't know. We'll find out at some point. I think. I hope.
Oh, I'm excited. I hope it is.
Yeah.
Just because one, I'd be right again, and two,
jeez,
no, just kidding.
My
two,
God.
No,
you're
seriously,
kind of arrogant now, aren't you?
No,
Jeez.
I'm not. Very humble boy. No, it would be cool. I would like that.
But you're right about Maul though, because they're fighting, and I love them being up on the beams, and of course you had a version of the Duel of Fates playing.
Yes,
that was great. Another nod in the music, and of course, I love the whole balance of good and evil in the balance, like them being up on the thing.
Yeah, literally balancing.
Literally, I thought that was great. It was a nice little thing, and then maybe this is why he went with the blue lightsaber against the red. Here, because
just visually
it looks better that way. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Just throwing things against the wall. But Maul's saying, "Kill me, let me die. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Just let me die because I know things are gonna go south real quick. Like in 5 minutes, I need to get the heck out of Dodge. So let me die. Because I think he like you said, he knew it's all going to hell, and I'm getting out of here, man. And that's it. So anyway,
well, I think Ahsoka proved that you can have the high ground and not win too.
No, that's true.
He had the high ground. He still lost.
That is true.
She loses her lightsabers. Wait, before we go any further and wrap all this up, she loses her lightsabers.
Yes.
And they fall down to it looks like 10 miles down below. So are we going to see them again?
Yes. I was hoping Rex was going to bring them up to him and hand it like Cody to Obi-Wan.
No, you look down there. It's like way down. They're so far up there. I don't know. The scale is
but she buries her lightsabers, right?
No, she does. I get it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
so
what if she finds two? No, I don't know. What she finds two green ones and that's what she buries. But no, Anakin knows that she left with two blue ones, and so if they're going to, if she's going to set it up so it looks like she died,
she's got to get him back because you see her.
She's got to get him back.
You see her over Rex, right, in that thing where she's kind of protecting him in the trailer. So
yeah, that's right. Oh well, all right.
I thought it would have been cool if Rex came up and handed it to her, like Cody did.
Maybe he still has it. Maybe once they get down.
No, maybe
he jumps out of the gunship and says,
"Oh, these are yours,
Amanda."
Yeah, maybe.
Sir.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, actually, he's the only one who calls her ma'am. I think. Mom. I could be wrong. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, so my final thoughts. Because I know we've talked a lot about here. I mean, we've stolen a lot of things here, but final thoughts. I've got two things. And I want to talk about Sam, Ashley, and then finally with Dave. And really quickly, Sam, Witwer, Ashley, Eckstein, I mean, the best work they've done, right? I don't know that anybody could argue that, and I'll punch you in the face if you say otherwise. But
I'm going to say that otherwise, just so you can.
Oh, no, you won't.
I'm only kidding.
I'll punch you.
No, I can't disagree with you on this. I mean, the whole thing has been spot on. They've all been on their game. And even James Arnold Taylor with his little that he had to do with Obi-Wan, he delivered very well.
Right.
They all did very well. So, I mean, Dave, he's done a fabulous job, and this is a perfect way to end George Lucas's Star Wars. Like, this is actually the end of, not the sequel trilogy, whatever, of George, but this is, in my mind, this is what it feels like. It's like, Dave, it's like a love letter to George here, because it's just, he's done an amazing job. So, I mean, that's all I can say. they've hit it out of the park. Now, I can only imagine what we're going to see the next 2 weeks. So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the only thing I was going to say about Dave Filoni that I haven't said already is I feel like you think about like great leaders, and you think about like people like the Vince Lombardi's and anybody that you would consider to be a great leader. One of the qualities they seem to always have is to be able to take people that maybe are average or people that you don't really know, or people that don't feel like they have a lot of confidence in themselves, and bring them up and elevate them, right? Elevate them to greater people than they were. And Filoni has time and time again now proven to me that he's able to take these characters, and just stay with me here. He's able to take these characters that we really didn't care for initially, or we don't have it in the back of our heads that it's going to be, what we think it is. And there's some skepticism there about why we question, we doubt. And he almost feels like a coach, right? A really amazing leader that's able to take these characters like a Maul or like an Ahsoka or an Ezra. You name it. There's a ton of other ones here, but he's able to just over time build them up to become characters that we really, really, truly enjoy. Asajj Ventress comes to mind as well. But in that way, he does feel like he is kind of like this head coach of Star Wars right now. He is able to take these characters and elevate them and mature them and make them grow in ways that we didn't think they could. And I say that because I know I mentioned earlier, but I was saving it for the end, but now we're at the end. So here it is. I just feel like Darth Maul was one of those characters that I didn't like the fact that he was come back. I mean, I wasn't unhappy that he was, but I felt like, really, Star Wars, this is what we've come to. You're going to bring back somebody that was cut in half. This did feel like we were jumping the shark. And he's had a lot of time to think about this and a lot of time to do it. But, if this truly was his vision all along, kudos to him.
If my memory serves right, he kind of looked at George and said, really? When Maul came back, because in his mind, Maul's dead. Now, I've always said, and you can go back on the show where I've said, all right, I agree bringing Maul back was kind of a reach. But when they brought him back, they did well with him. And they made him a much more interesting and dynamic character, and we all benefited for it after and later, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. The problem I have now with Maul is like, if you die, you just come back anyway. So it gets to be overused, so to speak. But it is what it is. And but yeah, you're right about Dave. So,
well, all right, I'm right.
You're right again.
All right again. All right, we're gonna end the show. We'll end at least the main show on that note. And
yes.
I got something special here at the very end of this show. But I'll mention that here in a second. Let's see, shout out. So we've got Nadia EG, who is our friend from France.
Yes.
She's joined Discord.
Yes.
So thank you for coming over to Discord.
Happy that she's in Discord and listens to the show. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you for your support. That's an old Bartle James commercial.
Yes.
Thank you for your support.
And we thank you for your support. Yes.
We got a review.
Yeah, we did.
It's a 2-star review.
Yes. Lovely.
Not a 5-star review.
No, it's not as great. that's
well, that's what it says. So not as great a show. They constantly change hosts and give people no explanation as to what is going on and where people are. Mike is a good guest.
Well, I think he's the only one who thinks so, but thank you.
But the constant changes in ear glue media in the show are disappointing, and the content just isn't what it used to be. Plus, fans are constantly in the dark. No consistency in content that is covered. No consistency and content that is covered is not what that it used to be.
All right. Well, I'm going to address a few things. Thank you for the constructive criticism, but I'm going to be giving my constructive criticism of his criticism. So I get what he's saying. And I agree, this isn't the ideal, but the main reason, first off, we've always said that Jonesy's coming back. He's going to come back, or we're going to just strap him to a chair and he's just going to be in front of a microphone and talking anyway. But he was on actually the Cantina Cast After Dark, the episode we had. We called him up and we talked for about 10 minutes or whatever. So he is coming back. Now, granted, this isn't ideal, but the reason we haven't brought it up on the show or anything, made a thing about it, is because, well, that's Jonesy's private life and it's his own business, and it's not for us to really say or share to either whatever. So if he comes back and he wants to talk about where he was and what he was doing, then that's on him. He can do that. That's fine. But the show in and of itself is made to be an escape from reality for the most part, where we don't have to talk about these things. Because I would think if we did that, it would detract from the show. So if anyone's going to be upset about that, it's directed towards me. That's my decision. I'm the one who makes that call and says, no, we're not going to talk about it because that's Jonesy's business and all that stuff. All we can say is he will be back. I can guarantee that and whatnot. So, it's not ideal having alternate hosts coming on. I've enjoyed the different perspectives we've had that have come on. That Maggie and Michaela do a great job. And maybe maybe not the best, although this gentleman seems to agree with me. Agree that I'm an okay guest, but I get your point. It's mixing around and stuff, but it's not ideal. But we're in a situation where we have to make do, and we have to make that decision, and this is where we are. So, it's either that or we don't have a show, and I'd rather have a show than not have a show. So this is where we are. Things will get better and sorted out. I just don't think most people would be interested in, not that there's any drama or anything like that, but like the stuff that's going behind the scenes as far as personal lives and, what we have to do to do that. I didn't think anyone would be interested in that, but so those are the reasons.
That's cool.
That's it. Yes.
No, that's good. I don't disagree with any of that stuff. So let me give you my own real quick take on this one.
Okay. Very good.
Because it's important. I think it's important.
Okay.
One, I think all feedback's a gift. Feedback is a gift. It truly is. I enjoy it, whether it's 1 star or 5 stars. I do appreciate when you guys reach out to us and let us know. So thank you.
I do
first
enjoy the 1 stars myself, but
sometimes. Yes. So thank you first and foremost for the feedback. Now to Mike's point, this is not the show. We are not in normal times, and I don't mean COVID or any of that. I just mean that, with Jonesy not here, we had to make a decision. Mike was trying to get out of podcasting. He's been gracious and helped us out whenever he could. But we've had Josh on, we've had Maggie, we've had Michaela, and I like hearing other opinions. Even before I joined the show, I do like shows where I get different opinions from different people. If you listen to The Basement, which I know this guy does, Slick Rick 2481. So thank you. He used to listen to the show when it was on, and he provided feedback on the show as well for there. So I'd like that. I enjoy that. And it's different. This isn't the show though. That's not the Cantina Cast. We're not going to, I won't say we won't sustain, because we certainly can do this, but this is just a temporary thing that we're doing because Jonesy's not around, and Jonesy not being around is kind of nobody's business but Jonesy's. It's not, if it was privy to everyone, we would have already said it. We're not going to. We'll leave it up to him to kind of decide. But that's just the way it is. And I don't have any regrets, no regrets whatsoever about choosing not to mention and keep people in the dark. The dark is there for a reason. It's for him to make that decision and not for us to say. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, all that said, consistency and content, it kind of is what it is. I think, again, this isn't the show. We're doing different things, and it's all temporary. At some point, we'll get out of this and go back to normal.
Yeah, and exactly. It will go back to being normal, and it'll be the Albert and Jonesy team, and that's the way it should be. At some point, I will do a behind-the-scenes podcasting show that maybe he'll be interested, where I spill a lot of dirt, and he might like that.
Oh, great.
So, yeah. Well, it's mostly complaining about myself, so which he might really enjoy. So yeah, it'll be more like therapy for myself over the last almost 10 years of doing this and everything that's happened. So, but that's the gist of it, Slick Rick, and I appreciate you taking time to write to us. It's constructive criticism, no harm, no foul. I don't take any issue with that at all. You address some things that are, they're a concern, but they'll get addressed, and things will get smoothing out, and we'll be fine. So with that, I'm done.
All right. Well, I got one last thing for you.
Oh, of course.
And so, listen, if you guys are into spoilers, go ahead and just shut the show off now. You don't need to listen to us closing out, final thoughts, or Mike's thing at the very end. Just end this dang show right now. But I thought we could do something that's kind of spoilerish.
Okay.
And it's not really that big of a deal. But I'm going to name the next episode title, and I want you to kind of just give me some speculation as to what it means.
It was kind of hinted
here's your chance
at.
to turn it off.
It was hinted at in the last episode.
True.
So just
all right. So the next episode is called I'm kidding. It's not. It's called Shattered.
Yes.
Shattered. Go. What is it? What are we talking about? What is Shattered?
Order 66. Ahsoka faking her death and Rex having to fake their death and go their separate ways, and I wonder if it has to do with hearing Obi-Wan's message. That'll be interesting because she must assume that Anakin's dead. Well, maybe not. I don't know. This is interesting stuff. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I thought so. I'm with you. I think it's on the surface. It is literally shattered, meaning all worlds are shattered. The galaxy shattered. The Empire is risen. The Mandalorians are no more. The Jedi are no more. The First Order is gone. Again, the galaxy is literally shattered about what's about to happen. It could be life. It could be talking about Ahsoka and the clone. Maybe it's Rex's perspective. His whole world has completely come down and shattered now. It's not what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
We've always talked about that. What does a warrior do when there's no war?
Go fishing.
Yeah, retire. That's what it does. But I also saw there was 2 moments in this episode. The first one was where Maul had Ahsoka kind of kicked him out of the window.
Yep.
And he kind of shattered. He went through that window. The second moment was later on at the very end.
The rafters.
We end.
Yep.
Yeah, when she's up in the rafters there. This episode ends with her staring into that broken glass ceiling. Now there's probably some symbolism there, which we're out of time to get into that now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was 2 instances where I thought it was interesting that they showed, because they do focus on when Maul goes through that window.
Yeah.
Like they hold the shot there for a second and you get to see it framed.
Yeah.
Where he's gone through it. Right. And then later on at the very end, when she's staring up at that long time. And I kept looking at both of those and trying to make out, like, what does that look like? Does it look like anything? Is there something there hidden? And there was nothing, at least in my eyes. But this idea that the next episode's called Shattered, I think it was just kind of a prelude alluding to what was coming up here very soon, that this was all symbolic above what was about to happen. So,
yeah,
there you go.
Well, that's going to be interesting because you got Bo, who's going to obviously side with Ahsoka, and Gar Saxon takes over, right?
Yes, he takes over. Yeah. He gets put in place by the Imperials, like he's the Imperial delegate guy or whatever.
Yeah, and then you got, of course, Maul, and then you got Rex, and who knows with Jesse, and I don't know how this is just going to be cuckoo next week. I don't know how it's going to resolve, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to be, I think, blown away and not know what's coming. So other than Order 66 hitting and things going crazy.
All right. Well, we're going to end the show on that note. Crazy. Seems appropriate. Any final thoughts before we go?
Hold on to your butts, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Good way to say it. So,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll be back next week to talk about Shattered. And until then, we'll see you all in a week.
You're still listening? Wow. That's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.